Welcome to Common Sense Wellness with Dr. Gary Martin, the show that helps you take control of your health with clarity, confidence, and practical wisdom. Dr. Gary Martin has spent decades in clinical practice and natural wellness research, discovering that the key to lifelong vitality lies in understanding the body's signals before they become symptoms. Each week, we will explore simple science-backed methods like mineral testing, facial scans, and lifestyle adjustments that help you restore balance from the inside out. You'll also hear from expert guests and real clients who have turned their health challenges into stories of transformation. No gimmicks, no fads, just common sense wellness that works. Now, here's your host, Dr. Gary Martin.
Welcome to Common Sense Wellness. I'm Dr. Martin. For over 50 years, I've helped people understand their health through testing, practical wellness strategies, and holistic approaches. We explore simple, actionable ways to restore balance, boost energy, and thrive. Today, I'm honored to be joined by Sherry Dinsmoor. Sherry is a client and a practitioner who has spent her life studying natural and energetic heating. What I say, heating? That must be because it's a little chilly out there, huh? All right, healing, Ayurveda, Theta healing, kinesiology, Chinese medicine, EFT, TFT. She also holds a degree in health science. After a serious fall at age 60, she injured her knee and shoulder, and she began a deeper healing journey that led her to my practice. My common sense natural approach to wellness and the Be Your Own Doctor course brought together everything she'd learned. Now, 72, Sherry continues to live with resilience and a passion for practical holistic health. Welcome to Common Sense Wellness, Sherry.
Thank you.
So you were healthy most of your life and deeply into holistic practices. And then at 60, you had a serious fall. How did that experience change the way you looked at your own health and healing?
Well, I've been terribly active mentally and physically, and to lose the ability to move really made me focus on other alternatives. Led me to you.
Okay, well, that was about, I just looked back in your file. I'm terrible on history these days. And it goes somewhere about mid 2020, I think, is about when we first hooked up. You know, that's, oh gosh, that's 5 years ago today.
Yeah.
So you've studied Ayurveda, Chinese medicine, EFT, TFT, kinesiology, lots of powerful tools. So when you're working with someone now, what's the main idea or principle that really guides how you help them heal?
Well, I have to use what you've taught us, which is the BIA test, which is urine and saliva. And that gives me an idea of what's going on in their bodies, which tells me if they're stressed out, if they're drinking water, which most people aren't. And then we can go from there to help them figure out what's the issue. And sometimes it's not necessarily physical, but mental. And if it's mental, of course, the body manifests what the mind harbors. And when that happens, then we have to go after the brain and how it's working.
So you're 72, you're still studying, you're still experimenting, you're still growing. How do you keep that curiosity alive? What's something you're really excited about learning or exploring right now?
Well, right. My passion right now is what you teach me. Be Your Own Doctor teaches me the whole ball of wax, which is the spiritual, mental, physical, and emotional. And my whole life, I always thought I could fix everything through health and diet. Yeah, right. And then when I met you, I realized it wasn't what I was eating. It was what I was thinking and doing in my response, and traumas that I would not understand why they're hitting me all the time. And then when I realized that I was so acid all the time because of the stress that I was encountering was causing my body to have problems, not necessarily what I was eating and doing. And that took me on the journey that you have me on. And I have access and tools to detour that path I was on of destruction. And now I'm not acid anymore. Now I'm in control of my stress levels. And I just, this is a good thing. This is just a good thing.
Yeah, it is a good thing. Yeah, that's for sure. So, do you remember what it was like getting your first BIA report, out to you when you saw your body laid out in that kind of picture, that kind of detail? What was different about that than all the other things you had looked at and tried and so forth?
Well, it gave me a reflection of what's going on in my body that I didn't have. In fact, right just before I met you, it was when COVID hit, and my metabolism efficiency was at 56%, and my immune system was even worse. And here I'm working full time and taking care of 3 acres and having a relationship that's nuts. And anyway, no wonder I got sick. But I always thought I was healthy. But not only that, everybody at school was sick. And to see the reflection of what the BIA taught me was like this miracle that I could actually have something to measure my body when things aren't doing the way they're supposed to do. And initially you start me on, oh, well, you need to drink a lot of water. And I did. But I still couldn't fix the problem because of my stress level. And that's when you kind of turned me around to working on my mammogram processing, which is the brain aspect of the body. And then things started turning around. Did I answer your question?
Oh, yeah, yeah. So you obviously don't have any trouble understanding that your body is your mind made visible, that the brain, the mind, and the body are linked together. It's almost the chicken or the egg. One thing influences another, and around we go.
Yeah.
So what would you say that the BIA as a tool testing your urine and saliva, you of course have the thing that we call the client lab kit, which enables you to do your own testing rather than to have to mail it overnight mail, which is a pain in the butt. But what would you say are the main things that it has helped you change in your daily life, either foods or habits or routines that you might not have made or know that you needed to make it without that kind of feedback that only the BIA can really give you?
Well, without that, I would have kept doing what I was doing, not knowing that I was dying. And because the report kicks out or tells you whether you're degenerating or you're regenerating. And I didn't know. I mean, my antioxidant levels were 56, and I got them down to now -80. I mean, my antioxidants are really up, which means it's clearing out all the free radicals in my body that I never knew they were there until you. How would I even know without the tools to measure whether I'm doing the right thing or not? And so that tells it all. I'm so excited. In fact, I was doing Ayurvedic medicine the same time I met you. And Ayurvedic medicine teaches you almost the same, similar on pulse, taking your pulse and finding out what's going on in the body through the pulse. And that takes years and years to figure out. And I realized that, oh no, Dr. Martin's is going to be a better path to take because it gave me instant feedback. Where the pulse, you have to really get really good at finding people's pulses and knowing what's going on through their pulse. Anyway,
Yeah.
that,
Plus, you have to be there. They have to be right there in front of you in order to take the pulse.
yep, that's right.
See, so
That's right.
that's a whole nother problem for those of us that love working remotely,
Yeah,
to be able to help people anywhere they are. All we need to see is the numbers that are produced from urine and saliva. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
everybody pees and everybody swallows. So why not? It couldn't be easier. And of course, the advantage of the BIA versus blood is the fact that the body will rob Peter to pay Paul for years before it'll let anything go wrong with your blood. So
Mhm.
you can feel like crap, and I'm sure that it's happened to you. It's happened to me. Feel like crap. You go to the doctor. He does all of his tests or whatever. He says, "Well, you're the picture of health." I remember one time I actually went to the Mayo Clinic. I had such terrible low back pain. I thought I must have a tumor the size of a basketball in one of my kidneys or something. I mean, that was just really bad. I go to Mayo and I sit there for 3 days because, of course, they have a waiting list, but they have people that don't show up. And so I'm sitting there and I'm waiting for my name to be called. And finally, on the third day, they call my name and oh, I got whatever. So I do all these tests, come back. I go back for the results of the test. The guy says, looks at me and he says, my gosh, you're the picture of health. And I couldn't believe it. So anyway, so that's my little story about how valuable urine and saliva testing is versus blood work. So if you could change one thing we do about healthcare, especially for people in their 60s and 70s and beyond, what would you like to see more of?
Me? Oh, well, I think the reason we have what we have is because people don't want to change and they don't want to work and they don't want to look at it and they go, oh no, I don't want to see it. Oh no, it might be bad news. Oh no, let's just pretend everything's okay. So how stupid. Well, but I'm willing to work. I mean, I want to find out. I don't want to hide things under the rug. And the medical field shoves everything under the rug and here, just take this drug and you'll be okay. And they go, oh, okay, I'm fine. And then they think they're fine until it blows up in their face. But they don't want to change it. They want to pretend everything's fine, and that's how the medical field makes it work for them, which I don't like because it just poisons them is all it does. And anyway, that did I answer that?
Yeah, you did. All right. So you've done a lot of energetic and emotional healing. When something feels off in your body now, how do you listen to it? What do you do to try to find out what it means? What tools do you use?
Oh, okay. That's easy. Anyway, the ORP meter is tells me whether I'm stressed out or not because it and it uses it's a probe that you put in the urine and that tells me if my body's degenerating or it's not it's working better, and that gives me feedback right away if I need to. And usually, but now that I've gotten my oxidation reduction potential up, I can mess up for 3, 4, 5 days and doesn't even notice. I'm still doing really well because I have enough reserve from being good for quite a long time that I can mess up if I don't sleep or I get in pain or whatever the stressors that come into life. So did I answer?
Yeah, for those that are watching this who don't have a serious clue about how we do what we do with basically we use the urine and saliva and we had to do hair mineral analysis and then we had to do this thing called membrane processing. So what Sherry is describing here is that there's a meter called the ORP meter, oxidation reduction potential meter. It's a urine reading. You just stick the probe in the urine, read the meter, and you want that meter to always be below minus 20. So there were times when you probably had a plus number, I would assume, Sherry. To you, what is having a plus number? Now remember, every time you do an ORP reading, you want the reading to be below minus 20. What do you know? What do you sense that's wrong? Or what does a meter tell you when you do it and it says plus 20 or plus 30 or whatever? What how do you interpret that for what that's saying to you? What do you need to
Oh,
do differently?
I'm either thinking, eating, doing something that my body isn't wanting, or I either ate something I shouldn't have been eating, and it gives me that feedback pretty quickly, really, within
Yeah, it's
24 hours. Yeah.
it's a very sensitive reading.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about mammogram processing. What did you think when you got your very first mammogram chart? Your body is your mind made visible. So like the BIA, which is testing your urine and saliva, it's looking at you as a body chemistry on two legs. And the BIA energy categories report reports back to you what your body is saying about how well is it generating energy from the food that's eating. Now, the HMA, the hair mineral analysis, another part of the common sense wellness protocol, is all about minerals. Minerals are the basic building blocks of your body. So it's looking at you, what's the so-called HMA graph that we see is another picture, but it's a picture of you as though you're a pile of minerals on two legs. And it's fascinating how you can even see personalities. You can see this, how stressed a person is or is not on their HMA graph. And then the third part of the common sense wellness protocol is the mind. If the body is the mind made visible, then somehow we have to get inside your head. Now, getting inside of your head was a complete joy because you're like joy on two legs, you know. And what did you think the first time you saw that first memgram chart on your level one? And I started talking to you about all these concepts. What was that like for you?
Well, I didn't know I was that messed up because I always knew that life should be more harmonious, and I didn't understand why I kept pulling in drama, and I always tried to keep away from it, but I pull it in anyway. And it kind of really blew me out of the water when you point out that these three words were matching what was going on in my life. And it's like, this is so bizarre. And sure enough, things would happen to match those words then after we would talk. And I go, this is so bizarre. And then it started making me realize electromagnetically we pull in what matches our internal cellular memory, right? And so that matched, it just triggered that if I could be aware, I could stop it. And so it made me aware of triggers that were increasing my stress level. And then I'd get acid, and then I would see it on the hair mineral and the hair analysis, because my poor body was trying to protect me from all this trauma. So my calcium would be sucked out of my bones to counteract the acid. And then my calcium level would fly up high on my hair mineral analysis, and I'm off the roof. And I go, and it just gave me another feedback of where I am. And then, 5 years later, oh my gosh, and you haven't got to see my hair mineral analysis, because my last one, I'm going to send it to you. You are going to be blown away. My first hair mineral analysis, the calcium magnesium
Right?
is ratio is 7, and
Really?
it's dropped down.
Seven?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's dropped down to a little bit lower, but you was off the roof before. And
Right.
I know it's taken a long time, but I did all your heavy metal detox stuff, and I'm so excited to see that my aluminum's down. You know how you said manganese is
Right.
really hard to get rid of? That's even down. You are going to be blown away when you see my new mineral hair analysis. And
Well, that's great. I can't wait to see it.
yeah, you know what? And it's because I think all of it's all now accumulating. The whole picture is giving me the feedback that and I know it took a long time, but to me, it is worth it. I know it needs to. It's good feedback, is what it was.
That's
So
great. Well, I know you've been studying hard, and one of the reasons why I asked you to be a guest on the podcast is because you are one of you, and you got to remember now, I've been at this for 50 plus years and whatever, and we just recently digitized a lot of my files and client files and whatever. There's almost 10,000 people, you know. So, I mean, if you just average 3 or 4 tests, I mean, some people have 20, 30, 40 tests, but let's just say you have average 3 or 4 tests. That's like 40 or 50,000 tests that I've looked at, you know, BIA tests. And you are one of the few people that really have taken this to heart and have put it to work not only for yourself, but I know you try to help family and friends, and then that blows up in your face because they don't really want to be, they might want to be helped, but they don't want to have to do what you got to do to be
yeah,
helped, right?
yeah,
That's how
yeah,
that goes. So
yeah,
I know you love helping people. What's the best way? You're in, what would you say? Would you say Northern California? Is that
yep,
the right term?
yep.
All right. If somebody wanted to contact you, find out how you might be able to help them help you from what we have taught you, what would be the best way for them to get a hold of you?
Cool. They could call, they could email me. I don't care. I would do whatever they wanted. Yeah, I love this stuff. I
Uh,
just,
uh, All right. So what email would you want them to use?
oh, Sherry Dinsmoor, SherryDinsmoor at Yahoo. And
Oh, okay.
my phone number. Oh, should I do that? Is that okay to give them my
Oh,
phone number?
yeah, if you want it out there everywhere, or would you just prefer to keep it by email first?
Oh, yeah, let's do email first. Yeah.
All right. Okay, great.
Yeah, yeah.
So if it's been 5 years, okay, if you were going to boil it down to 30 words or less, and you say, what's the biggest difference you think between you today versus the you of 5 years ago when we very first started talking? What do you think has made the biggest difference?
I think you know what? It's not just one, it's the whole show. It has to be the
Right.
whole. I wouldn't just say one thing because you helped me with the brain, the mental, physical, spiritual, the emotional, and the physical gives me the reflection of the brain, and the minerals tell another story too. So the biggest feedback I've gotten from the whole thing is I have a handle of my life, my personal life, my health, my relationships, all of it. I have a handle on it now, where before I never understood why things were happening the way they were happening. I didn't get it. But
Yeah,
now,
we have a saying, right? This you can't manage what you don't
man,
measure. And
yeah.
that's what the whole common sense wellness thing is all about. It is that teaching you about some very simple, very basic tools that you can use. We have a test that you can do on your urine and saliva. It tests for 7 things. Once you really know what you're doing, the test only takes 10 minutes to do. And anybody can do it. There's several self-tests that we have for like chronic inflammation and things of that nature. But the memgram chart is probably kind of pulls it all together in terms of there are 3 words that control your life. And those 3 words have many varying ways that those 3 words can go out. But even though the words might be different, whatever the first 3 words that you had, we always end up kind of talking about the same concepts, even though the words are different as you progress through the level. So I thank you for being here. You are so much fun to be around. Everybody loves your personality. And
Oh,
I hope you never stop being curious. And I know how disappointed you are. And so many people come to you just like they come to me. And they're all hot to trot. They heard about it. They want to do it. And as soon as they find out, oh, I have to do this. Well, I don't want to have to do that. It's amazing to me how many people say, see, what you
yep.
say and what you do, you
Yes.
are what you do. You're not what you
You
say.
say,
And
yeah.
everybody comes and says, I want to feel better. I want to do better. Oh, you mean I have to do something? I have to change something I'm doing? Yeah. So anyway, I know how disappointing that is for you because if anybody wants to help somebody, it is definitely you.
I
So
try.
I thank you for joining us on Common Sense Wellness. And remember, taking practical steps to understand your health emotionally and physically is how we restore balance, boost energy, and thrive.
Mhm.
Thank you very much, Sherry.
Thank you. I'm so honored to be here. Thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
man.
Thanks for listening to Common Sense Wellness with Dr. Gary Martin. To learn more about the testing and resources we discussed, or to find out how you can take charge of your own health, visit BIRI.org. You'll find valuable information, free tools, and ways to connect directly with our wellness community. That's BIRI.org. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe and share the show with someone who's ready to take their next step toward better health.